We all have people that come into our lives and touch us in such a way that we'll never be the same. For me, that person was Roger. And today I'd like to share with you some of the lessons from Roger. I met Roger working as a research scientist for a nanotech company. He serves as the chief scientist and was by far the most brilliant man I have ever met. His mind assimilated information so quickly, it was like a computer on steroids. He was like the real live version of Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory. I started working with this company when they were really just beginning, so I saw a lot of transformations over the years, including in Roger. Thinking back, I can't help but laugh and think about the communication that Roger and I used to have in the beginning. Because his intellect and aptitude were so enormous, and he was so quick to want to get to solutions, he could often come across as a little abrasive, maybe a little rude. But what I saw and transpire over the next 10 years was nothing short of amazing. What I witnessed was Roger's exponential growth in social understanding. I saw the way Roger modify, the way he communicated with different people in a variety of different ways in order to connect with them. He began to take time to ask questions and ask for people's insights, even though the guy could have easily gotten to the solutions himself. But Roger began to understand the value of inclusion. He understood that people have different needs, different assets, and different language styles. And he used that. He used that to his advantage. He used that to the advantage of the company and to the advantage of the employees. So while Roger was always brilliant scientifically, it was truly his mastery of the social aspect, which was able to get him the connections that made all the difference. And not only his workers, though, and also the propulsion of the company and selling his ideas to doctors and hospitals. With Roger in the lead, the company went from selling 2 MRI thermal mapping systems per year to over 10 per month. That's not bad math. I saw Roger create a legacy, not because he was a genius, because there are plenty of smart people out there, but because he could connect with people and he understood what that meant. And he knew how to bring out the best of everyone. And that is what made Roger truly remarkable and brilliant. I share this story about Roger to help people understand that it really is about the successful connections and the relationships that we have with people that make the difference. Those connections are what lead to outstanding performance, higher productivity, higher employee morale, and higher customer satisfaction, which all leads to higher profits. Now, what manager doesn't want that? But to get there, we have to understand the secrets. We have to be willing to look a little deeper, just like Roger did. Roger understood that it was an investment, not an investment of money. No, an investment in people. And that took making longer conversations, looking a little deeper, really getting to understand the needs of each person and their projects. Time spent focusing and developing on the team. How many of you have bought a piece of IKEA furniture? How many of you have had all those pieces laying on the ground, all those parts, with nothing but a packet full of what looks like encrypted pictures drawn by a bunch of preschoolers with no text? Why, IKEA? Why? Why? But the better question is, and I want you to be honest with me, how many of you have been left after you've assembled that piece of furniture, look at the ground, see the extra pieces, and look at the piece of furniture, look at those extra pieces, look at the furniture, and start doing the math and going, it's happened to me. Y'all be honest. Has it happened? How many of you have gotten 3/4 of the way through the project, somehow managed to use every piece, but still have 2 pages worth of instructions and not knowing what in God's name you have just done? Now I've got my people. Building a solid team is no different than building a solid piece of furniture. If you have too many pieces and you don't know how to best utilize them, it's going to be challenging to build. If you have too few parts and you can't optimize those, it's going to be challenging to build. Most importantly, if you don't have the common language to communicate with your employees, it's going to be challenging to build. If you don't have the right components, if you don't have the right structure, even if you get that thing built with the first little point of depression, or with a point of pressure or distress, it will probably endure significant hardship because there was no real solid foundation. Managers, have there been times you've been too quick to judge, been unwilling to look a little deeper? So your IT guy isn't the most social guy in the world. That doesn't mean he's going to go postal, and that doesn't mean you shouldn't try to get to know him a little bit better. So what if he doesn't respond in that typical overt fashion that we're used to? That doesn't mean that he's odd. It doesn't mean that he doesn't like people and doesn't want to be included as part of the team. People can be way more complex than that. And then you take my wife, who is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Instead of thinking she's going postal, you'd swear she was having a party every single minute of the day. She's that bubbly and happy. I honestly have no idea how she does it. I honestly don't. I sometimes wonder if she's on an intravenous dose of happy crack. And that's how she shows up to work. But beyond that, she's very personable and relationship oriented. But what people don't realize is that she's leveraging those conversations and that dialogue in order to get information. She's an analyst. That's what she does. She gets and processes information. But to a boss who doesn't necessarily see that, the complexity, they may think that she's being too social and has been called too effervescent. Too effervescent? Come on. I want effervescent around me. I want those happy people. What the managers may have overlooked is that she's taking a lot of time to get to know people so that when she needs some information, she can get it quick, and people are much more willing to help. And those relationships have allowed her to get numbers that no one in that company has ever been able to get to before. So managers, don't be so quick to judge. Take a look at an employee's full profile to see how you can extract those assets and leverage those for the strength of the team and to maximize performance. Take a look at their full profile to see what they're bringing, their value that they bring into the table, and then how you in turn can make them feel valued. Because here's a little aside. When you can make a person feel valued and appreciated, then what you have to say and what you have to offer becomes important to them. So let's take it up a notch. Let's make it about we versus me. When it becomes about we and making people feel valued, trust begins to form. Better dialogue and collaboration occur. And solutions to problems are the result. Diversity makes a team stronger. Diversity makes a team stronger. When you can get to that higher level of understanding of how people best function and what their needs are, what their assets are, and leverage that for the strength of the team and integrate that, you're going to see maximum performance. You're going to see sustainable productivity. But until we spend some time on the basics, like effective listening, constructive dialogue, and how to engage people when we're communicating, that level of understanding the best will never be achieved. And I'll close with this. I know one thing for certain, and that is that relationships matter. And I know that each of you have had that one person, that one relationship in your life that has made a real difference. That one person that changed the way that you looked at things and made such a huge impact on you that because of them, each of you is a better person today. Roger was that person for me. It didn't come naturally to him. He had to work on it. But because he chose to rise to the occasion, he did create a legacy. And you can do that too. And it's going to start with your relationships. So go communicate, go collaborate, and go cultivate and begin creating your own legacies today.